Okay, we'll be starting in just a minute. Hey, what is this dress everyone's suddenly talking about? That was off social media for like 20 minutes, and suddenly it's all anyone is talking about. It's weird. Oh, no, don't you fucking do this. There it goes. Okay. All right. Let's go. Okay, welcome back. Going to be a shorter show than usual this week because, well, Constantine is done, and Flash is on, I believe, a 3-week hiatus. They'll be back in 2 weeks, pretty sure. But we got Arrow, we got Gotham, and we got the season finale of Agent Carter. Excuse me, Agent Carter. One of these days, I will remember how to talk when I do this. You know how this works by now, but if you're joining us for the first time, this is where I review all the weekly comic shows, go through them one by one, give my thoughts and opinions, and then I'll let you guys give your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section. If you have any questions or something you want to talk to me about, or want me to talk about, leave it in the comments section down below. I'll get to everything. I always try to. And for the record, tonight's dinner is chicken salad, and I got a couple oranges here also. If the stream craps out, which I thought it almost did a minute ago, please don't leave. I'll try to get it back up as soon as I can. And that's it. All right, let's get this show rolling. Starting with, as usual, Gotham. Now that Constantine's done. Gotham. All right. Episode 17, Red Hood. We got a gang of thugs robbing banks, one of whom likes to wear a red hood. Maroni is preventing Penguin from getting booze for the club. Fish Mooney meets the manager of the organ harvesting pirates, which ends with her gouging out her own eyeball. Barbara tries to give Selena a makeover, and one of Alfred's old military buddies pays him a visit with disastrous results. So it's another episode with 5 stories competing for screen time. I cared about 1, maybe 2 of them, but there's still a lot going on here that the show would be better off without. In the A-plot, we've got this team of bank robbers where one guy likes to wear a red hood just to stand out, I guess. At least until one of his buddies kills him for being annoying, apparently. Was all the justification he needed. And then he wears the red hood. At least until one of his buddies kills him, so he can wear the red hood so his girlfriend will think he's more of a man, I guess. And then they all get killed by the cops. First of all, for bank robbers smart enough to case out banks and clock police response time before they rob the place, these guys do some remarkably stupid things. Shooting one of your own guys in your place of business, not bothering to clean up the blood, hiding the body in your own fridge, that's leaving an awful lot of evidence just lying around for people to find. It's awfully convenient, actually. And then it turns out the guy was just a baker getting revenge on banks for not giving him a loan. The guy was awfully nonchalant about committing cold-blooded murder if this was all just about money. I would think you'd need a little bit more motivation than that. I'm just saying. And then the guy who kills him just so he can wear the red hood to impress his girlfriend. Did he have to kill the guy over this? Did he need that red hood specifically? Was it so important to him that he killed the guy just to have this one red hood? Couldn't he just cut some holes in a red tablecloth or something? I mean, it makes you wonder why this crew was staying together when they kept turning on each other so easily. And for such incredibly petty reasons, too. When you've got bad guys doing dumb shit like this, it does not make for compelling villains. I mean, the writers took the Red Hood concept that could have had some big relevance to comic fans, and they turned it into something kind of dumb here, I'm sorry to say. Then we got the Penguin, who cannot get booze from the club for the club because Maroni is cutting him off from all the liquor distributors. Kind of seems like that would go against the agreement that Maroni made with Falcone, which is odd. Falcone apparently is fine with this. But Penguin and Butch get some more booze quite easily, so it never really becomes much of an issue. Wasn't the most pointless thing to happen this week, but it wasn't very interesting either when it's resolved so fast and with so little effort. Also, Butch isn't a zombie anymore. Why? I don't know. No explanation given. Maybe the writers realized that was a stupid idea and called an audible? Your guess is as good as mine. The Alfred story was the most compelling thing to happen this week. Alfred is slowly developing into one of the more interesting characters on the show, so I enjoyed learning more about his backstory and what makes him tick. Also, very good was how they were able to tie this stuff into the business with Bruce and the corrupt board of directors of Wayne Enterprises from last week. That makes it feel a lot more relevant than, say, Fish Mooney getting taken prisoner by organ harvesting pirates with an eyeball fetish. Now, every single member of the board being so corrupt that they'd hire this guy to find out what Bruce knows and kill people if necessary, that was pushing it. Now, you're telling me there's not one decent person on this entire board? They're all in agreement on this? Every single one of them? There's not one person who might have a problem with what they're doing? I guess Bruce hasn't met Lucius Fox yet. And then, with this guy, now wanted for attempted murder. they bring him into a board meeting and display all these pictures that he took from Wayne Manor to find out what evidence the 12-year-old Bruce Wayne has collected on them. They didn't want to be a little bit more discreet than that. They didn't think somebody might see him. Yeah, the whole thing just seemed very silly. And that's too bad, because all the stuff with him and Alfred and Bruce, I was enjoying up to that point. And I thought the twist itself of him being hired by the board was cool, but then they just went too far with it. Yeah, they took it to a cartoonish level, and they kind of spoiled it. Now, if it turned out that he had just been hired by one or two members of the board, and they met him in some dark street in the middle of the night and just handed him a sack of money in exchange for what he knows about what he learned about Bruce and what the information that Bruce had collected, that might have worked a lot better. But to bring him into the boardroom in the middle of the day with every single member of the board just sitting there being on board with this, no, it's too much. You had a good idea and you went off the rail with it. And speaking of going off the rail, wow, I hate this fucking Fish Mooney subplot. Why are we spending so much time on this? This character was finished after she got ousted from power and run out of the city. There is no more reason for her to be there, unless it's to do something with Penguin. Maybe. Did Fish Mooney really need her own storyline? And if you had to give her one, you couldn't think of something that made a little more sense than this? Fish is still playing hardball with these pirates despite having zero power or leverage. And these pirates are humoring her when it seems to me that simply putting a bullet in her head would solve all these problems that she's causing. Anyway, they finally realized that them kowtowing to Fish is really fucking stupid, so they figured that rather than listen to her try to act like she's the boss of them, they'll just take her eyeballs. Then even more stupid shit happens. Fish gouges out her own eyeball and squashes it just so they can't have it. And this, for some reason, makes Jeffrey Combs furious right after he just calmly stated that they could easily write off Fish, the other prisoners, and their organs as an acceptable loss. Why is all this happening? Where is it going? Why should I care about any of it? I don't know. Sure, Fish has a lot of guts to do that to herself, but I really don't see how that helps her. She's only got one eye left, but she's still got all her other organs. They can still take those. And she just passed out right in front of them, so she can't fight back. It seems to me that Fish just completely screwed herself here. Now, if these guys are smart, they'll just strap her to a table, take all her other useful body parts, kill her, and that would probably be the end of all their troubles. This problem could be resolved quite easily as I see it. So how much do you want to bet that they're going to find some bullshit reason to keep her alive next week? Fuck. I don't know how Fish Mooney became more irritating than Barbara, but she managed it. God damn. This whole storyline is just... Christ. Yeah, thankfully, Barbara was kept to one scene this week. Yeah, she's still letting Selena and Ivy crash at her place just for shits and giggles, I guess. But from out of nowhere, she decides to try to make over Selena. You're trying to teach her that her beauty gives her power over men or something like that. I have no idea why Barbara is suddenly acting this way, where this is even coming from. In fact, she seems wildly, strangely out of character in this scene. It was weird. I did like Selena here, though. Yeah, once again, we see how she gets really defensive whenever things get too personal. So that's a trait that is consistent with her, and I continue to really like the girl playing her. But I don't know what to make of Barbara anymore. This character is a mess. And if there's a light at the end of the tunnel for her, I can't see it yet. I like the Alfred stuff until they went too far with it, and too far with the corruption angle in the boardroom. Excuse me. The other side stories ranged from inoffensive to just plain dumb. All the praise this show gets baffles me. Since it came back from mid-season break, Gotham has been all over the map, and it seems to have less and less of an idea of what kind of show it is. And it better start getting its act together, because if this show does not get a lot better real soon, there's no way I'm coming back for season 2. Okay. Yeah, if you got Gotham questions, hit me with them now. All right, sir. Oh, we got Constantine here. We'll get to that later. Oh, boy. That gaming asshole. Just Gotham. Get it over with, dude. Unleash the dragons. Make them real once more. Man, I'm with you, man. This show is really pissing me off right now. Just they gotta start. They gotta stop smoking crack when they write these scripts. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Seriously. The Save Me one. At this point, who do you think is likely to become the Joker? Jerome or the kid who put on the red hood? I don't know. I question whether the writers know. Because if Jerome was supposed to be the Joker, then why do that tease at the end with the kid putting on the red hood? It's like they're throwing in teases. Oh, maybe it's this guy. Maybe it's that guy. Well, who the fuck else could Jerome possibly be? With those mannerisms and everything? Okay, if he's the Joker, then what the fuck was the tease with the red hood, the kid with the red hood about? It's like they're teasing. Okay, well, if Jerome was the Joker, okay, fine. Then don't do another fucking tease with the kid in the next episode. If Jerome isn't the Joker, well, that felt like a big fucking cock tease. Because who the fuck else could he be? And then doing the Red Hood the very next week, it's like, well, what the they're just yanking our chains now. Okay, all these things are just piling up. And it's like, if you want to do the Joker, fucking do the Joker. Stop teasing it. Stop saying, oh, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's that guy. Fuck off. Just do the fucking Joker. Or the guy who will become the Joker. Stop jerking us around with this. It's really annoying. The Save Me one. When Barbara is talking to Selina about using her looks as a weapon and Selina once again gets angry at someone trying to help her, I thought it was interesting how they showed Ivy standing off listening in. Kind of looks like Barbara will be the one that accidentally sends Poison Ivy on her path. I noticed that too. It kind of felt like Ivy was sort of listening to what Barbara had to say while Selina was getting defensive about it. And that felt appropriate for the Poison Ivy character. I mean, she's supposed to be like a sort of like a femme fatale who men are helpless, who can make men helpless with her looks and her pheromones or whatever. I'm not too familiar with the character from the comics, but doesn't she have like some kind of mind controlling pheromone stuff that make men do whatever she wants? Yeah, that advice felt more appropriate for Poison Ivy, so I'm not surprised that she was listening in. But if Barbara sends Poison Ivy down the path to becoming a supervillain. God damn. You need to make Barbara more likable. Not less. God damn it. Jacob Walton. I really do think there's a point with Selena and Barbara and Ivy. If Barbara is the one to convince these girls how to work men by their appearance to commit a crime, then it would work. Barbara has done criminal actions in the past with the drugs, and she had used her looks to get by in life. So there is potential if they take that route, but they will execute it. But will they execute it? Probably not. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they go, but right now I have very little confidence that it'll come off well. Because their track record and stuff like this is just not very good. All right. That gaming asshole. In the A-plot, one hood will rule them all, apparently. And I guess Jason Todd is what, the same age as Batman? Or somehow that was his father? What? Also, hoods are Viagra. And we learned that predatory lending is bad, okay? 4 out of 10. Hilarious. In the B-plot, Fish. I don't even know anymore. I give up. I give up out of 10. Fuck you, Gotham. Exactly. In the C-plot, Barbara is macking on Catwoman. My dick is out, so 10 out of 10. No comment. That girl is several years away from being legal. And lastly, Alfred is nearly killed by a mercenary because adult men are afraid of a child. Afraid a child will somehow unseat them as power players in Gotham, which, seeing how insane Gotham is, may be a valid fear. 5 out of 10. Yeah, this show is... this show has a lot of problems. I can't argue with anything in that post. Oh, all the critical acclaim Gotham gets right now is just blows my mind. Babs and Cat, ship it. That gaming asshole. No comment. Okay. Let's talk about a better show. Excuse me. All right. Agent Carter. Episode 8, Valediction. Fenhoff and Dottie plan to unleash Howard Stark's rage virus on Times Square. Peggy and Dottie finally throw down. Peggy comes to terms with Captain America's death. Sousa saves Thompson's life. And Thompson continues to be the world's biggest douche. Then in the end credits stinger, Fenhoff goes to jail and is given the worst cellmate imaginable. Okay. Season finale of Agent Carter. This was another one that, to me, really helped justify the existence of this show. Because we start seeing more connective tissue to stuff that's going on in the cinematic universe in the present. You know, before we saw the origins of the Black Widow program, and here we see the origins of the Hydra brainwashing technology, which was very cool. Interesting tie into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right there. Now, you put Fenhoff in a cell with Arnim freaking Zola, and there's no telling what kind of evil shenanigans they could get up to. Really awesome cameo by Zola, by the way. But no one thought that making those two maniacs cellmates might not be the best idea. No one thought that might lead to bad things. Really? No one? You put the evil Russian mind control guy in a cell with the Red Skull's chief scientist. No one thinks this is a bad idea. Okay. All right. Anyway, anyway, I need more Howard Stark. Everything needs more Howard Stark. Every time this guy shows up, he is a fucking riot. Like his ego stroking when he goes to SSR to turn himself in. Who designed your security system? Same guys who did the one for the White House. Yeah, they stink. You should have hired me. Poor Jarvis is like, shut the fuck up, you. And then when he's feeding lines to Thompson during the press conference, fucking Dominic Cooper is just selling the hell out of this. This with this shit-eating grin all over his face the whole time. It's fucking priceless. And then that awesome flashback where, of course, he spent a weekend with Dottie. And then he finds out that she's a murdering psychopath, and he's still flirting with her. Howard Stark, you dog. This guy is fucking awesome. But then they flip the switch. And suddenly you see Howard Stark the man, rather than the shameless horn dog. And we see how much the guilt of losing Steve Rogers affected him, too. You know, that dream sequence where he thought he could bring Steve back, and you see Peggy with the shield and everything, and she's kind of wearing the Captain America colors and everything. Oh my God. I mean, the whole, like, what would you change if you could thing, that was really powerful and really affecting. This was easily the most emotionally naked we've seen Howard, and Peggy, too, for that matter. I mean, that scene where she's talking to him over the radio, that was fantastic. Not just because we get to see Peggy and Howard in a rare moment of vulnerability for both of them, but this was a direct parallel to the scene at the end of Captain America: The First Avenger when Cap was saying goodbye to Peggy over the radio. That was brilliant. It gives the episode a nice emotional core, with Peggy and Howard coming to terms with Cap's death, you know, being what ultimately saves the day. And then Peggy pouring the blood out and saying goodbye. I mean, they were really tugging at the heartstrings there, and it worked really well. You know, we get a nice conclusion to Peggy's arc for the season. She gets some degree of closure on Cap. She gets the respect from the SSR guys and that she wanted, but she also realizes that she doesn't need it at the end of the day, that she knows what she's worth, and that's enough for her. But that's not all she needs. No, sir. That's not all she needs. She also needs a good roommate, damn it. Roommate like Angie. So they're going to live together in Howard Stark's guest house now. Maybe they'll share a bed. We don't know. But it's the greatest thing ever, damn it. Greatest fucking thing ever. Something else that was great, and something that was missing from the previous episodes, was that they gave each character a moment to shine. This was the most like an ensemble the show has felt so far, and it worked well. I think. Peggy's still front and center, of course, but everybody gets to do something. All the major players are there, and they're all doing things. The men didn't come off like idiots. They helped take the bad guys down. Jarvis flies the plane, ready to shoot Howard down if need be. Sousa saves Thompson from Fenhoff. Thompson takes credit for everything. Peggy gets through to Howard and finally goes toe-to-toe with Dottie. And that is probably my biggest criticism of the episode, unfortunately. Peggy versus Dottie. It was great. It got pretty brutal with Dottie wailing on Peggy with a baseball bat and shit. It was an awesome fight for the 90 seconds it lasted. I may have built it up in my head too much, but this felt way too damn short to me. I was hoping for something like Ward versus May from the S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 finale, but instead it's just starting to get really fucking good, and then Peggy kicks Dottie out the window, and then it's over. It's like less than 2 minutes. And this was the fight they built up to all season. It's like I ordered the main course and I only got the appetizer. And the appetizer might be really fucking tasty, but it's not a meal, So that was kind of unsatisfying, if I'm being honest. However, the silver lining is that Dottie escaped. Because the writers know that when you've got a villain this fucking cool, you don't kill her off after 8 episodes. You gotta bring that woman back to menace Peggy again and again and again. And I hope this isn't the last we see of Leviathan, too, because they made for a really effective big bad this season. You know, they were mostly the hidden menace in the shadows until, you know, really late in the game. But they were one step ahead of the good guys right up until the end. You know, just when you think SSR has got one up on them, they distract them with the fake-out sniper and kidnap Howard. I love when you have villains that are smart like that, because it requires the good guys to be smart and up their game to defeat them, rather than just dumbing everyone down like in a bunch of those Flash episodes earlier in the season. Well, I still think that last week's episode is my favorite. I thought this was a really strong finale for Agent Carter. Very good stuff here. Yeah, there was some great comedy with Howard Stark. It was very emotional at times. I love how the whole plot stemmed from a personal vendetta that Fenhoff had against Howard. You know, the personal issues tend to be the most compelling a lot of the time. It kills me that the Peggy-Dottie fight got cut so short. But Dottie lived to fight another day, so hopefully we'll get round 2, and hopefully we'll get season 2, fingers crossed. So overall, surprisingly enjoyable season for Agent Carter. I look forward to more, and hopefully we'll get more next year. That being said, however, I am 150% ready for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come back next week. Hell yeah. Excuse me. Okay. The Save Me one. Peggy should have let Sousa punch Thompson in the face. This guy learned absolutely nothing. He got his job because he lied. He took credit he didn't deserve during the war, and he's still lying to take credit when he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, pretty much. I think there was an interview with the showrunners where they talked about this. They basically said that Thompson hasn't really learned that much. Well, he learned that, you know, Peggy's got a lot more on the ball than he thought. He learned to kind of respect her and her abilities, but at the same time, he's still the same guy. You know, he's still a self-serving douchebag. The only difference is now he's making a conscious choice to kind of, you know, screw everyone else to get himself ahead. So he's changed, but not that much. Really wish someone would punch him in the face, though. I agree with that. Get the Twitter questions. No, that was Arrow stuff. Okay. Well, if there's any further Agent Carter questions, put them in the comments section. I'll get to everything. But for now, we're going to move on to Arrow. We got Arrow Season 3, Episode 15, Nanda Parbat. Thea sells out Malcolm Merlin to the League of Assassins, and Oliver, being the only person in this episode who's seeing the bigger picture, goes to Nanda Parbat with Dig to get him back. Things don't go as planned. They get captured, and Ra's al Ghul has a very surprising offer for Oliver. Meanwhile, back in Starling City, Felicity gets freaky with Ray Palmer, making a great number of viewers vomit in unison, and that distant boom you hear right now is the sound of @SmokeAnArrow on Twitter shooting herself in the head. Okay. First of all, why does it seem like every female character on this show was an idiot this week? Thea, Felicity, Laurel. Every one of them are doing some profoundly stupid things. Yeah, and that's normal with Laurel, which, I mean, this is pretty much normal behavior for her. Acting like a dumbass, taking a bad situation and making it worse. That's just what Laurel does. So it may not have been out of character for her to pick a fight with Malcolm Merlyn, but that doesn't mean it wasn't stupid of her to think she had a chance in hell of beating him. Oliver could barely handle this guy, you idiot. What do you think you're gonna do? Yeah, sure, it was fun seeing Laurel get her ass kicked again, but I'm not supposed to enjoy that when it happens. The fact that I do is a big problem that is still not being addressed. At least with Thea, you can sort of believe that she's not thinking all that rationally right now. But still, her actions here kind of undo her character development from the previous week. I thought she had come to some kind of understanding that they needed Malcolm Merlyn alive. But after one conversation with Laurel, she gives him up to the League. How did she know how to contact them, by the way? I don't know. Thea seems to regret this decision by the end, and her telling Nyssa to take her revenge on her, that was really interesting. That was a twist I liked. But I thought the whole point of the last episode was making Thea understand that working with Merlyn was a necessary evil if they were going to have a chance against the League. And this week, she just forgets all that. I get that Thea's going through a tough time right now, and that might account for some small allowance here, but Thea wasn't really using her head in this situation. Nor was Felicity. And in this case, that really hurts. Because unlike the others, Felicity is supposed to be smarter than this. First, she hates that Oliver wants to go save Merlyn, still not understanding why they need Merlyn alive. Then she sees Ray Palmer getting consumed and obsessed with finishing his Atom suit, so she ends up trying to distract him with her vagina. Ew. Just ew. Ew. Just ew. All right, no. Just stop it, okay? Just no. No, just ew. 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 Ugh. I can't believe they're still trying to make this Ray Felicity thing happen. This is not just about wanting Felicity to be with Oliver, okay? Believe me, that's not it. I hate how this makes Felicity look. It's like she sees Ray as a more emotionally healthy version of Oliver, one that she can fix, whereas Oliver seems unfixable right now. And there is chemistry between the actors. But every time the writers have tried to play up this romance, it strikes the wrong chord. When Ray was trying to get Felicity to warm up to him, he came off like a creepy fucking stalker. Whether or not that was the writer's intention, that's how it looked. So when you have Felicity, for some reason, being charmed enough by this creepy-ass behavior to sleep with the guy, that kind of says something pretty bad about Felicity. But seriously, this was just icky. I don't want to make the Bella Swan comparison, but I'm tempted right now. She's so pissed off that Oliver wants to keep Merlyn alive, for very justifiable reasons, mind you, that she jumps into bed with her incredibly transparent Oliver analog. Not a fan of this. Really not a fan of this. Seriously, what was up with the women this week? I swear, the only female character that seemed to have her head screwed on straight here was Lila. I really liked her scene with Dig. She doesn't beg him to stay home. She actually encourages him to go with Oliver to Nanda Parbat because she knows that's just what he has to do. That's who he is. And she's actually supportive of it. Well, how about that? That was nice. I also like the stuff with Roy talking sense into Thea. How he's been keeping tabs on the family of the cop that he killed while he was on Mirakuru, secretly helping them out with stuff. This is really good. You know, Roy hasn't fallen into some emo downward spiral over this. He's actually dealing with it in a healthy way, which you really wouldn't expect on a CW show. Then we got Oliver. I feel for this guy. Why is it that no one seems to understand the position he's in? he thinks they need Merlin alive because he's their only chance to defeat Ra's al Ghul. It's not something he's happy about, but he believes that it's for the greater good. And also, he really doesn't want his sister to become a killer because he doesn't want her to turn into him. It's an understandable dilemma, a sympathetic dilemma, and yet none of the women seem to get this. Thank God for Dig, who seems to come around at the end. So they go to Nanda Parbat to save Merlin. And somehow these two cut a swath right through the League of Assassins, who go down like an army of red shirts. These are supposed to be the deadliest killers on Earth. And yet Oliver and Dig seem to have no plan other than just waltzing in the front door, cutting down every motherfucker in their path. And it works. You'd think the League of Assassins, the League of motherfucking Assassins, would put up more of a fight than this. Just saying. So they find Merlin just hanging there. And for some reason, nothing about this feels like a trap at all. But it is, and they get captured. Seems to me that Oliver and Dig would have been smart enough not to fall for that, but they're not, and they do. And don't try to tell me that the League falling like dominoes was all part of that trap, okay? Because if that's true, then Ra's just sacrificed a hell of a lot of his own people to capture these guys when he probably didn't need to. Just seems like a waste of resources and manpower to me. But I really liked Oliver and Dig bonding while they were locked up. You know, Dig asking Oliver to be his best man. That was a really sweet moment. It was a really awkward time and place to talk about that, but I think that's why it worked. Then Ra's is offered to Oliver. Ra's wants Oliver to take his place, to become the new Ra's al Ghul, to be the new leader of the League of Assassins. Which is strange, seeing as how the last time they met, Ra's thought Oliver was like a boy to him. Nevertheless, a really surprising twist. And unlike Oliver dying, I don't think there's going to be any kind of bullshit way out of it this time. That's good. Also, I'm very happy that this whole League of Assassins plot is finally going somewhere. You know, this whole season, they've been talking about the League and how dangerous they are and you know, what a threat they pose to everyone and blah, blah, blah. And yet, we almost never see them. We're 15 episodes in, and this was only like the third time we've seen Ra's al Ghul. But now the story is intensifying, finally, which should help the narrative a lot, I think. As some other details worth mentioning, we finally see the completed Atom suit, which seemed a lot less like the Atom and a lot more like the Iron Man suit with some really questionable green screen. But the suit looks really good. You know, hats off to the designer. I mean, they made that on a TV budget, and it looks really impressive. Now, I do have a feeling that the Iron Man comparisons are not going away anytime soon, but you know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for right now. Another thing, I was happy to see Oliver and Thea actually training with Merlin this week. You know, last week didn't make sense to me. How are they supposed to learn from Merlin if they're on Lian Yu without Merlin? You know, that was weird. Here, they're actually trying to learn from Merlin, which I thought was the whole point. So that's good. I didn't really understand Merlin's advice, though. You know, he says Oliver has been training for years to bring a bow and arrow to a sword fight. Okay, question. Why does Oliver need to fight Ra's al Ghul with a sword at all? If he prefers a bow and arrow, if he's best with a bow and arrow, can't he just use that? Wouldn't that make more sense? I guess we're assuming that Oliver is planning to fight Ra's al Ghul on Raz's own terms again, but why would he want to do that? That was a disaster last time he tried it. Is that the only way to get the League off their backs, to beat Ra's by his own rules? If so, I wish they'd clarify that a little bit. This episode had some really good moments, you know, some interesting developments, and a really surprising ending that I liked a lot. But I'm 50-50 on whether or not that stuff was outweighed by all the stupid. Felicity and Laurel were kind of infuriating here. At least with Thea, you could sort of write it off as a moment of insanity because she seemed to come to her senses by the end. But not a great episode for the ladies overall, I'm sorry to say. And Twitter questions. Excuse me. I said on Twitter, oh, bullshit. Felicity likes stalker. Excuse me. Oh, bullshit. Felicity likes stalkers now? At Pedro Lunion replies, Oliver's rich. Felicity is hot for him. He got poor, so she jumps to the next rich superhero. She's a gold digger. Wouldn't go that far. I don't think Felicity particularly cares about that specifically. However, all the innumerable Oliver comparisons to Ray Palmer are just incredibly transparent. I think if they wanted this to work, a better idea would have been trying to make Roy Palmer different from Oliver, instead of just having him be like the same guy, just in a slightly more healthy place. Because I don't like what this is saying about Felicity. I really don't. Also, Pedro Lunion says, after this episode, I wonder if Felicity won't leave Arrow and join the cast of the Atom spinoff. No, I don't think we need to worry about that. No, the Felicity character is too popular on Arrow, and the Felicity-Oliver pairing is too popular. And these are fairly savvy producers. I think that they're aware of that. I think they know they've got a good thing on their hands, and they're not gonna throw that away. Okay. All right. That gaming asshole. I stand by my assessment that Thea is a pretentious moron who places such a ridiculous premium on complete and unbiased honesty that it's driving her and me crazy. She caused every problem in this episode, even above and beyond Laurel's bullshit. That shit was cute in season 1 when she was just eye candy, but now she's a main character and it's become a fatal sidetrack. I cannot deal with Thea. And my mind literally exploded when Laurel told her to. I don't even know what that was. Thea caused everything, every problem in this episode, but by God, Laurel didn't help. I almost didn't care that Felicity had sex with not Iron Man, because at least they're not letting people get killed for no reason. Yeah, like I said, not a great episode for the women in general. I was a bit more forgiving of Thea just because she has been emotionally manipulated for quite a while at this point, and she's not really thinking with a clear head. However, that doesn't really excuse her for being stupid. Laurel wasn't helping. You know, she did sort of indirectly encourage Thea to do what she did. Maybe she wasn't totally cognizant of what she was doing, but that is kind of what she did. I will credit Thea for kind of coming to her senses at the end and realizing that, oh, maybe what I did wasn't so smart. Yeah, but she was pretty slow on the uptake here. I won't deny that. Yeah, and they've still got a big fucking problem with Laurel. This character, she needs a ton of character surgery, and she's not getting it. For some reason, excuse me, For some reason, the producers don't seem to be aware of the fact that most fans don't like Laurel. I have the social media account for the show, Green Arrow TV, something like that, on Twitter. During the episode, they tweeted something like, wow, didn't it feel great to see Laurel get some licks in when she fought Malcolm Merlyn? Okay, first of all, that's not what happened. What licks did she get? She got her ass kicked. I don't think she landed a single shot. Merlyn embarrassed her. And then you look at the replies to this tweet, and it's dozens of people saying, "No, it didn't feel good. I hate Laurel," or "Laurel sucks," or "I was cheering when Merlyn beat the shit out of her," or "Laurel annoys the piss out of me. I wish she had died instead of Sarah." You know, stuff like that. It's like they're blind to the fact that this character is really fucking annoying. I don't see how they could not see it. But it's like it's a blind spot or something. I don't get it. Okay. Come on, Google Plus. All right. All right, going back to all the other stuff. Coastal Edius, some Constantine notes. I missed last week's show. Number one, Constantine's fate will be known in May. All right, that's true. They haven't. I don't think a concrete decision has been made on Constantine. Whether to renew or officially cancel, that decision won't be made official until a few months from now. I guess that's how it is. But with their ratings, with their demographics, I mean, the writing's on the wall. Even for a Friday show, they're not doing so good. And a second season, at least a second season on NBC, is not likely. Two, rumor is that Constantine will resurface on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah, possibly. Stranger things have happened, but I wouldn't count on it. Coastal Edius, I know I shouldn't do this, but oh no. Fuck, marry, kill. Danielle Panabaker, Elizabeth Henstridge, and Emily Bett Rickards. Oh my god. I don't want to kill any of them. Oh god. You really put me on the spot with this one. Damn you. If I had to choose, God, I don't want to kill any of them, damn it, but if I had to choose, I guess I'd fuck Danielle Panabaker, marry Elizabeth Henstridge, and kill Emily Bett Rickards. Bear in mind, I don't want to kill any of them, but I mean, they're all great, but if you put a gun to my head, I mean, Elizabeth Henstridge is just so fucking cute. Oh god, and she's funny too. I mean, you've seen her in interviewers. I mean, she's really funny. Emily Bett Rickards, I mean, she's funny too, but I don't know. I get the sense that some of the comedy kind of comes from the writing too. She can be funny in her own way, but it's not the same. When she doesn't have people writing. Plus, she talks really fast, and that gets a little weird. Again, only because you put a gun to my head, but yeah. Those would be my choices if I had to make them. It's Gotham. Jacob Walton. That's about Gotham. I think the board members were mostly middle management. As we found out, the woman was the Welson person from the Viper episode, so I don't think all the board members are in it. Plus, it would be cool to meet Lucius Fox if he's in it, if he's on it. Yeah. All right, middle management guys. Okay. Well, why would Bruce be meeting with middle management? Wouldn't he want to go straight to the top? I mean, it is his company. Yeah, we'll see. I still think that they went too far by having like every member of the board. I mean, it seemed like that whole table was full, didn't it? I have to go back and watch again, but I really don't want to. There were enough people there that the corruption felt cartoonish to me. I still think it would be better if it was just like 1 to 3 people that were the source of the corruption. But yeah, that's just me. It would be nice to see Lucius Fox, though. Yeah. Jacob Walton. Now that season 1 is over, which season do you think was better, Shield or Carter? Wow. It's you're talking apples and oranges here because Shield was Marvel's first TV project, Marvel Studios, and Carter came along after the studio had learned a bunch of things and had kind of upped their game production-wise and stuff like that. I think it's a better comparison would be Carter to Shield season 2, but since you asked, I don't think there's a clear-cut answer. I would say that Agent Carter started off more strongly than Shield did, had a more clear idea of what kind of show it was, because it didn't have any of the handcuffs that Shield had at first. Also, since it was only 8 episodes, it could move through the story a lot faster, whereas Shield was stalled by having to wait for the Winter Soldier tie-in to happen 17 episodes down the line. So they couldn't move the story that quickly. So they had to kind of pad things out with a lot of standalone episodes that didn't seem to move the story forward that much. And overall, the narrative was just kind of slow until the tie-in episode. I think after the tie-in episode happened, then the story started moving a lot faster. Then a lot of things started happening, and then it got really interesting. And that's when it became the show that it was supposed to be the whole time. It just wasn't free to be until then. I think Shield season 1 was rockier, just because they had a lot of roadblocks to overcome that Carter didn't have to deal with. I think production-wise, Agent Carter looks better than Shield season 1 did. It's got a glossier feel to it. It's more cinematic, which I like. Again, production team learned a few lessons from Shield season 1. I think Peggy might had a bit more gravitas as a central character than Coulson did when they were dealing with the how did Coulson come back to life stuff. It just wasn't really grabbing a lot of viewers as much as I think the writers thought it might. Whereas Peggy had, with Peggy there was a little bit more to latch onto. I think some things you can give to Shield, some things you can give to Carter. I think I would say that Agent Carter started out more strongly, but S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 finished more strongly. But like I said, I mean, each show has a bunch of checks in the win column. Each show has things it does better than the others. It's not a really fair comparison for a lot of reasons, but that's the best way I can put it. That gaming asshole. I didn't watch Agent Carter, but my girlfriend told me Peggy threw away Captain America's blood, and I literally refused to believe it until I saw it online. What was that supposed to even be? Honor, integrity, love, how, why? Well, still better than Gotham. Well, well, it was love. You could make the argument that the blood was a dangerous thing. It could be used. It could be weaponizable if the wrong people got a hold of it. Just think if Leviathan knew what that was, they could theoretically use that blood to start a new super soldier program. And imagine incorporating that into the Black Widow program. I mean, oh my God, they could take over the fucking world. So, yeah, I mean, the blood could have been used to do great things, but it could also, I mean, if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be a WMD. So you could argue that maybe the blood was just too dangerous for any one person to have. There were benefits to keeping it, but I understood why she poured it out. And it didn't really bother me. And yeah, way better than Gotham. Gotham was kind of a hot mess. Yep, okay. That gaming asshole. That's one of the reasons I stopped watching. I actually feel sorry for Thompson because he exists as this punching bag for some half-baked sexism tract, even though the writers chose to depict a magical version of the 50s where blacks and Asians are treated equally while women are an oppressed minority. I thought that was offensive in episode 1, but unless something major changed between then and the season finale, it's still a major problem they never address. No, they addressed it, sort of. Thompson does. Thompson's sexism is addressed in the sense that he learns that Peggy is way more competent than he gave her credit for, and she's a much better agent than he gave her credit for. That being said, he's still the same guy. You know, he's very self-serving, and if he sees a way to advance himself in his job, but has to screw over the people around him to do it, he's going to do it. He's going to take that opportunity. Apparently that's just the kind of guy he is. He's a self-serving asshole. And he's not going to that's one of his big character traits, and he's not going to overcome that overnight or in a single season. Let's see. The Save Me one. I really don't know what to make of this episode. They are kind of getting into Gotham territory with the subplots. You have Ray on his way to becoming the Atom and teasing that Thea is on her way to becoming Artemis. Then there's Sarah then there's the Sarah Talia thing that I am not a fan of. It's Talia and Bruce, not Talia, but it's Talia and Bruce, not Talia and Sarah, but that's another topic. Then you have Oliver. So Thea makes a deal that pretty much saves the city, saves her and Oliver, and takes care of Merlin once and for all. But Oliver lets his pride and insecurities get in the way and puts everyone right back in danger, not exactly what heroes do. When there's an episode where Laurel is the one making the most sense, there's a problem. Oh, I don't think Laurel made the most sense. Remember, she had the bright idea to try to take on Malcolm Merlin by herself. That was pretty fucking dumb. And, no, I don't agree that that's what Thea did, saving the city. I don't think so. They may have Oliver may have, well, they may have thought that Malcolm Merlyn wouldn't give up Thea. Wouldn't say that Thea was the one who killed Sarah, technically. But there's no way to be sure. I mean, after a few days of torture, there's no telling what Merlyn could do, or what he could tell them. And he might think he loves Thea in his own twisted way, but this is the same guy who, remember, who let Slade Wilson out of his cell just so he could fight Oliver and Thea potentially to the death. He didn't know Slade wouldn't kill Thea, but he let the guy out anyway. The guy is fucking deranged. You know, there was really no guarantee that giving Merlyn to the League would solve all their problems. There really wasn't. Plus, Oliver is looking out for Thea's humanity, and considering the kind of shit that he's been through, that makes sense. He doesn't want his sister to become a killer. He doesn't want her responsible for taking someone's life, because we see the kind of corrosive effect that that's had on Oliver over the years. He doesn't want his sister to turn out like he did. And maybe that's kind of a trivial thing compared to the potential benefits of having the League off their asses. But I understand why Oliver feels this way. You know, this is the only family he has left. He's going to hold on to that for dear life. I mean, he's always been very protective of Thea. He doesn't want her to become a killer. Short-sighted? Possibly, but I get it. You know, he's not going to sacrifice Thea's humanity for anything, really. Striffen 19. I know that a lot of people, myself included, thought Thea might be Artemis, but considering we have only seen her use a bow once, I'm starting to think she might become Katana. Wasn't Masayo's wife the one who becomes Katana? That's the impression I had. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll make her Artemis just with different weapons? I believe Thea had archery trophies in her room back when they still lived at the mansion. You know, that's what Charlie said. I never noticed them, but he noticed them. That gaming asshole. Save me one. That's Talia. That's not Talia. That's Nissa, Roz's other daughter, who is canonically a bisexual. Talia is canonically straight, or at least canonically in love with Batman. That gaming asshole. Thea seems to be more like Arrowette than Artemis, since the former is like way young and a human, and the latter is an Amazon and like 8,000 years old. And that terrifies me, by the way. I like Arrowette. I hate Thea. Okay, I think Arrowette is kind of a stupid name. But to each their own. Strippen 19. I think Gotham needs to call an audible and either make Barbara Jim's niece. What? Or make Leslie her mother and have her die during childbirth and come up with some bullshit reason. Oh, I see what you did there. You mean Babs, right? All right, let me start again. Because make Barbara Jim's niece? Is he into incest now? No. Okay, let's start again. Gotham needs to call an audible and either make Babs, change it there, Babs Jim's niece, or make Leslie her mother, then have her die during childbirth and come up with some bullshit reason why he would name his daughter Barbara. Also, I think Fish Mooney has gone off the rails, but they don't want to cut her loose because they don't want to lose Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh yeah, they don't want to lose the worst actor on the show. Yeah, what a loss that would be. the person giving the worst performances routinely week to week with the most batshit insane storylines that make no sense and don't even feel like they're happening in the same show. Oh yeah, it would be a shame to lose her. Yeah, I said this previously, but about the shit with Barbara, you know, if they wanted to go against years of comic book lore, just call an audible, make Leslie Babs' mother, and if they wanted to do that, I'd be okay with it at this point. I really would. Maybe have Barbara kind of redeem herself somehow. I don't know how they can do it, but somehow make her more likable and have her maybe just become a friend to Jim and Leslie, and then die, and they name Jim and Leslie, Gordon and Leslie get married and have a daughter, and they name her Barbara in tribute to their dead friend or whatever, or something like that. I don't fucking know, but I wouldn't mind if they went that route, because the whole Gordon Barbara thing, it doesn't work. They've tried, it just doesn't work. The actors don't work together, the characters don't work together. It's just a big mess. It's time to call an audible, Gotham. It really is. Okay. Wait, shit, what happened here? Now we're still going. Okay. All right. Strifa 19, thoughts on the Power Rangers. Okay, we'll do that last. How's that? The Save Me one. What did you think of the Oscars ripping superhero movies and then Dan Gilroy talking smack about them at the Spirit Awards? Well, I didn't watch the Spirit Awards, but I'll take your word for that. I think it's a little hypocritical. For any award show institution to make light of the superhero movie genre, considering that a superhero movie is one of the highest grossing movies ever, that a superhero movie was, I believe, the highest grossing movie of 2014, that superhero movies routinely clean up at the box office, that a really good-sized chunk of the Oscar nominees, of this year's Oscar nominees, have appeared at one time or another in superhero movies. I mean, Jesus Christ. I think the best lead actor or best supporting actor or nomination category had no less than 3 people who have appeared in superhero movies in it. J.K. Simmons, Edward Norton, Mark Ruffalo, J. Jonah Jameson, the Hulk, and the Hulk. That's like half the category right there. And J.K. Simmons won. You know, I think there's a lot of egotism involved there. I think it's stupid. Clearly, these movies are popular as hell right now. And if the movie studios have no problem cashing in on that. I'm sure they enjoy all the money they bring in. And yet the award shows talk down to them when, several of these movies were nominated for awards. I mean, yeah, it was only in technical categories, like special effects or costumes or whatever. But they were still nominated. They were still deemed award-worthy. And yet you still want to talk down to them? Why? They just make themselves look like assholes. And Dan Gilroy, well, I didn't watch that show, so I'd take your word for that. Duke CT, is there any chance that Agent Carter comes back? Too soon to tell, really. The ratings did stabilize around the 1.3, 1.4 range for, like, I believe, like the last 4 episodes. That's right on the danger line. So I think the difference maker will be the DVR numbers, +3, +7 viewership stats. Depending on how much those increase, the show might have a shot. I think right now it's a toss-up. Could go either way, but like I said, I think it's too soon to be sure. Yeah. Ask me when the +3. Ask me when the +3 numbers come out. I might have a better answer for you. Right now, I think it's just too soon to tell at this point. All right, Jacob Walton, predictions on what happens on S.H.I.E.L.D. next week. Okay, well, we know a few things. There were some promo photos that leaked, that were released, rather. We know a few things. We know that Coulson is going to tell Tripp's mom about what happened to him. And there was a preview clip that came online just before I started the live stream tonight. That's kind of it's a little spoilerish, but we know Coulson is going to make a deal with Talbot to transfer Bakshi in exchange for things. So that's something. We know Skye is going to have trouble controlling her powers. And it looks like there's going to be a scene wherein Fitz is kind of watching over Skye, who has been quarantined, or something to that effect. And Skye's powers go nuts, and she's sending out vibrational waves that make like glass shatter and shit. And Fitz is trying to help her. That's really interesting. What I am probably the most excited to see, though, is what Raina looks like. There have been a few teases about this. We know that she's going to look different. Really different. In the mid-season finale, there was a line where Tripp says, "What's supposed to happen?" Raina says, "Something beautiful." There is no way that line was not put in there deliberately. Raina was always the one who was really gung-ho about the Inhuman thing and Terrigenesis and finding out what her destiny is and what she'll become. And she thought it was going to be something really idyllic and beautiful and wonderful and perfect and really super amazing and all that shit. There's the reason why they didn't show her in the mid-season finale. My guess, she's going to look fucking horrifying. I think she's going to be one of the unlucky Inhumans that turns into something really fucking monstrous. And I would hate to see it do that to Ruth Negga. I would hate to see them make her look less attractive. But the way I think they're going, I think she's going to be horrified or driven insane by what she looks like now. Because we see, her eyes are different. Her eyes are like yellow now, and she's got like spines sticking out of her, and her hands are like talons now, and shit. It's. And we saw they're doing that thing again where they have Marvel artists drew like posters, showing kind of representing the stuff that happens in the episodes now. And they have a picture of Raina, and she's got this hood up, and her eyes are like glowing, and she's all like covered. She's all like her face is all dark and shit. So they're still hiding her, but they're definitely going like the monster route with her. And I can't wait to see what she looks like, because this is gonna be like horrifying and amazing all at once. I get the sense that Raina's going to be a fucking horror show now, and it's going to be. She's not going to take it well at all. Okay. Save me one. What did you think of the new Shield preview and the new promo poster? I believe I just talked about that. I like them very much. The new preview. I believe you meant the new Sky preview of just basically just showing her powers and stuff. Not really anything that would happen during an episode. It was like something that was filmed just for the trailer. Basically, it's like a vignette of her being quarantined, and there's something inside me, something inhuman, and then everything starts shaking, and the ground starts cracking and breaking up and stuff. It was cool. I liked it. I am a little concerned that we may be going back to the season 1 strategy of making Sky the center of the universe, which I'm not thrilled about. I was enjoying the season 2 method of doling out the screen time much more equally among the cast members. I mean, I like Sky fine, a lot more than I did in season 1, but she's not my favorite, and she doesn't need to be the center of the universe all the time. You know, there are other characters I find far more interesting. You know, I want to see, I want more attention devoted to, you know, whatever Mac and Bobby are up to. You know, I want to see more stuff with Fitz and Simmons and stuff like that. I want more time with Raina, you know, but it does seem like they're in May. I want them to do more stuff with May. You know, let's get her backstory finally, and I believe that is coming this season, so that's good. But yeah, it's like they're putting Sky front and center again. And I know she's technically the main character, I guess, but you know, I'll wait and see. But I was preferring the ensemble nature, you know, the increased ensemble nature of season 2. I would prefer it if they didn't go back to Sky being the spearhead of the show. Yeah, that should be Coulson, damn it. But we'll see. Okay. Striffen19, thoughts on Power Rangers? Or Power / Rangers. Okay, if you didn't see this, some people made this really awesome fan movie of... It's like a parody of the grim, gritty remake trope that's permeating show business right now. Like in the same vein that the Battlestar Galactica remake was the grim and gritty remake of the campy 70s classic. So, someone did a 15-minute fan movie doing a grim and gritty remake of Power Rangers. They've actually got some name actors in there. They had Katie Sackhoff as Kimberly and James Vanderbeek as Rocky. What the... Apparently, like, the Machine Empire has taken over the world or something, and it's like a semi-post-apocalyptic war zone now, and you know, someone has been killing all the former original Rangers one by one, and Tommy is like, you know, he's off the grid, and you know, Rocky is trying to capture him and something, and Rocky's lost a leg and some shit, and it's like... Instead of like the campy kid stuff, it's all like hyper serious, and it's like we were fighting a war, we were soldiers in a war and some shit, and they're all dying horribly, and it's really fucking good, actually. I mean, sure, I'm looking at it ironically. I'm not. If you don't try to take it serious, it's really goddamn entertaining. The production values are great too. I mean, this looks like they sunk a lot of money into this. But yeah. You know, great fights, great effects, great production values. They had Katie fucking Sackhoff in it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I recommend all of you, you know, look for that thing online and watch it, because that was really damn good. Okay. Anything else? Here we go. That gaming asshole. The Oscars are a joke. Let them make fun of superhero movies. It's as laughable as an old, impotent man making fun of a young, vital athlete. Who cares what short-sighted old man obsessed with indie movies thinks? The public has spoken. Yeah, absolutely. You know, they can talk down to superhero movies all they want, but they're still going to clean up at the box office. You know, Avengers made a shit ton more money than any of the movies in the Best Picture category this year. So you can look down at them and during awards season, but movie-going public like them, and that's where all the money comes from. So you know, snub them all they want. I don't think they care. I don't think they're too fussed about it because they're still making money. Power Rangers was badass. Agreed. It was awesome. See, that gaming asshole. Watch at the last second. Leslie will do something ridiculously unreasonable, and Jim will leave her and get back with Barbara. There you go. Watch. No. No, goddammit. Even if that were to happen, even if Jim were to break it off with Leslie, I don't see why he would, because it seems like a much healthier relationship than the one with Barbara ever was. Even if things were to go south with Leslie, why would he go back with Barbara? He doesn't even seem like he misses her. He didn't seem to miss her when she left him the first time. He didn't seem to miss her when she left him the second time. He got over her and moved into a new relationship pretty damn quickly. Why would he get back together with her? The only reason I could possibly think of is if he got her pregnant before she left. If he did, she'd probably know it by now. She might be showing a little bit. So I don't think that's much of an option. Otherwise, I don't see how it could happen. And I really fucking hope it doesn't happen. Let's see. Is that everything? Okay, I believe that's everything. Okay. I think that's a good place to end it tonight. Unless we get no more Twitter questions. Okay. I think it's a good place to call it. I believe next week Flash will still be off. I'm not sure about Arrow. Arrow may be off too. I don't know. I'd have to check TV Guide or the websites or whatever. But I know something's off next week. At least Flash. But we had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back this coming Tuesday. Yay. And Gotham still. Oh, but Constantine's gone, so I believe we'll have 4 shows. 3 or 4. But, yeah. That'll do it. S.H.I.E.L.D. is back next week, everybody watch. And I look forward to what they do on Arrow and, oh, God, Gotham, whatever batshit crazy stuff they try to pull next. I'll be here to review it all next Thursday, same time, same channel. See you then. Over. Out.